Hi everyone, welcome back to English for Airlines again. As you can see, this is our last chapter of this course, and the last 2 weeks after this, we are going to have the job interview and the presentation. About the detail of these two assignments will be posted in our Facebook group soon. So let's have a look at the content of this week. The content of this week, we are going to study about how to prepare yourself for the airline job interview. Then, with no further ado, let's get started. The first thing that we have to do before having the job interview is to find the right position. As we have studied in chapter 3, there are many positions in airline industry. So it is better to look through yourself first in which positions, in what kind of job that you would like to work, and in which positions that your qualifications meet their requirements. Then it is worth to research your goal position beforehand in order to look at the requirements that they might have and to prepare yourself to meet their requirements first. For example, the cabin crew requirements advertisement from AirAsia X here. From reading the qualifications, we know that the qualified applicant must be Thai nationality who are between 21 to 26 years old. Also, the applicant must have the minimum height for female, which is 162 centimeters, and male, which is 170 centimeters, and must have the TOEIC score for 650 points. So, from reading the recruitments beforehand, we can know the general qualification of cabin crew of Thai AirAsia X. Please bear in your mind that different airlines might have different requirements, which means the requirements that you found in one airline might be very different when you have a look at another airline in the same position. So it is suggested that you should have the airlines that you would like to work with, like in your mind that you would like to work with first, and then have a look at their job requirements. So I would like you guys to do the exercise in page 95 and 96 to practice skim and scanning the information from the recruitment. So I will give you time for 5 minutes, and then after 5 minutes I will show the answer key through this video. So the video will be paused for 5 minutes to give you guys time to do the exercise. end of the 5 minutes. I hope you already finished it, but if you haven't finished it, you can pause the video and do at your pace, because after this, you will see the answer keys of the exercise. So here are the answer keys of the exercise in page 95 and 96. After you finish doing the exercise in page 95 and 96, I would like you to do the exercise in page 97 and 98. In this page, you have to research the recruitment of the job position from the airlines that you would like to work with. So it could be the past recruitments, and it can be any positions, which means it doesn't have to be just the cabin crew. It can be any positions that related to airline industry. So do the research of 2 positions that you are interested in, and then summarize the qualifications and list 5 basics information, general information about the airline that you took the recruitment from. From doing this, it will help you in the interview process, because showing that you know some information about the airlines show your motivation that you would like to work for that airline. If you know nothing about the airline other than the color of the uniform, the salary, or the base destination, you certainly won't create the positive impression. There is no need to know the whole story, the whole history of the airline, but at least you know some basic information, such as the airline business partner, the executive of the airline, or even the awards or achievements of that airline. So please do the exercise in that page 96 and 97. And then submit the exercise 2 in page 96 and 97. So, since this week we haven't studied live in class, so we studied through the video, right? So, the submission of the assignment will be counted as your attendance of the class, and that you really watched the video up until now. So, please submit it before this Sunday, May the 2nd, by 4 p.m. So you can submit it through the Google Drive that will show you soon. Next, when you found the right position that you would like to apply for, normally applicants are required to submit the resume. So I believe that you might have heard the word like resume or CV, that stands for curriculum vitae. Here are the differences between the CV and resume. A resume contains a summary or listing of a person's relevant jobs experience and education. On the other hand, curriculum vitae or CV, it's kind of similar but focuses more on the education part. Both are typically used to scan applicants, and it is often followed by the interview when seeking for employment. A resume is more focused on the previous work experience, employment history, and key achievement that you have from your prior job. while a CV includes the academic background, as well as teaching and research experience. Both CV and resume include the person's name, contact information, the work experience, and relevant work-related skills. So, from the explanation, you might have the idea that normally in the airline industry, we focus on the resume more because it's about the work experience. So, it is suggested for you to prepare your resume beforehand. And if you are not sure what to include in your resume, so before you start writing your resume, review an outline of what you will need first, and then gather and summarize the information, group the information together first. So it will be easier to write the resume if you have all the information beforehand. Then you can fill in the information in the outline and finish your resume. In the page 99, you can find the example of the resume. Then the last process of job applying is the interview. When interviewing for the employment, you might think that if you are the candidate with the best answer for the interview questions, you will get the job. But in fact, this isn't typically the case. The studies show that the body language comprises of 55% of the successful interview. The studies show that the body language comprises of 55% of the successful interview, whereas the verbal contents provide just 7%. And other nonverbal language, such as your tone, or intonation, or the pause that you give for when you answer the interview question, comprises of 38% in the successful interview. As you can see, nonverbal communication is as important or even more important than the verbal communication. The evaluation of your nonverbal communication will be evaluated as soon as you arrived at the lobby of that company and continue until the interview process is finished. If your nonverbal skills are not impressive, it won't matter how well you answer the questions, which means it could affect your performance during the interview. So, the nonverbal communications that are suggested to do is first, to make the eye contact with the interviewer for like a few seconds. So, the eye contact is just like, okay, you look at them just like a few seconds. Eye contact doesn't mean you will stare at them, Okay, so eye contact, the friendly eye contact. And you can smile and nod your head at the appropriate time when the interviewer is talking. But remember, don't overdo it. You can do it when it is in the positive situation or when you think that you really agree with them. But don't overdo it like this, okay? Be polite and keep your even tone of speech. So for example, in the interview, don't be like, yeah, just keep it even tone, like the very polite one. And the last one, don't be too loud or too quiet. Because too loud, it looks like aggressive a little bit, and too quiet, it looks like you kind of like shy, something like that. So that affects your image. And when I talk about your image in the interview day is needed to be professional. The classic formal business attire is a safe choice that will give you clean and professional look. You can find an example in page 100 and 101. Next In the interview, you might be asked a lot of questions. In order to have the successful interview, the basic is that you need to know yourself first. You need to know who you are, what you can do, and also your weakness. This is called self-image. It is a personal view we have for ourselves. It is our mental image. The strength and weakness that we learn as children are internalized and affect who we are, how we act as we are nowadays. Self-image is really important because how we think about ourselves affect how we feel about ourselves as well. And how we think and we feel about ourselves react and affect how we respond to other people in real life, and that's affect in the interview how you react to the questions. So in the interview, the most common question that normally asked is that what is your weakness? This kind of question is asked to see whether you know yourself and whether your weakness can be fit with the company or not. And this kind of question can be asked easily if you know yourself well. For example, you might find yourself to be the person who find it difficult to manage time when you do your work. You could say that you have the problems in time management because then here you have to give the reasonable reason to support your weakness, to turn it to be the positive. So in this case, I would say that I have the time management problems because I would like to focus on every details of my work. And now it shows that you are the person who work in very detail. And remember that you must say your solution that you have for this weakness to let the interviewer know that although you might not be that perfect, but you are working on it to overcome your weakness, to better yourself. So in this case, I would say that yes, I have the problem with time management, but that's because I would like to work it into very detail, so I am controlling it by using the calendar, the reminders or the alarms in my electronic devices to make sure that I will work it on time. So as I mentioned, to answer the questions like this, you have to know yourself well. You have to know your weakness and your strength. So the exercise in page 102 will help you to analyze yourself. Please do it since it will help you for your job interview that you will have for next week. So that's all about this chapter. Please don't forget to submit the exercise 2 in page 96 and 97 to check your attendance. I will give you the Google Drive QR code again here. Also, the details about the interview and presentation will be posted in your Facebook group soon. Please stay tuned. And if you have any question, feel free to comment down below. I will come to answer it. And thank you so much for this semester. See you!